Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Carm Capriato. It's a CarmCast. It's Wednesday, 12 noon, East Coast time. Glad to have all of you that will and may be joining us from the Pacific Coast out there at 9 o'clock hour, which is the second cup of coffee hour. Hey, we're introducing something brand new here on a CarmCast. We're going to start doing a series of why and how to. And our first one is why or how to keep my floors clean with my floor scrubber. Isn't that the coolest thing? Well, you don't have to have a floor scrubber in order to do it. But welcome. Glad to have you here. We're coming to you live from the Remarkable Results Radio Podcast studio. If you're going to hang with us on social, love to, do me a favor, check in with your city. We can see it inside the studio here. Give us a like, a comment, and or share this out to your friends. We'll repurpose this as a podcast to you next Monday, so you'll be able to listen to it right inside the remarks stream. Hey, so as I said, we're going to talk about keeping floors clean, and we're really moving on with CarmCast. We're really, blah, blah, do I speak for a living? I think I do. We're going to start and work with people in the industry to talk about how to do things and or why to do things. And again, we're really excited about doing the floor thing. Here's who's with me, Stefan Grabina. Hey, Stefan, how are you, man?
Hey, Carm, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good, buddy. Good. BMW Exclusive Service, Rockville, Maryland. Great business you got there. And Scott Balava's with us, Lonsdale Auto Works, Lonsdale, Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes.
Yep, absolutely. And they're not frozen over now. It's actually warmed up a little bit.
No. I thought that doesn't happen until June.
Sometimes it feels that way. We did have a little snow yesterday. So,
oh, great.
We had 80 last week and snow yesterday.
So glad to have you here. Hey,
Great
look, we have a great supporter of CarmCasts going forward, and I have to tell you, thank you so much for the support from Broadly, and great working with Matt Baker, Mike Dela Cruz, and Kim Conte. Hey, let's talk about Broadly for a second. Are you seeing auto shops in your area get hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, and are you feeling left behind because your shop only has a few? Well, hey, look, Broadly is your answer to getting more online reviews. Now, with more reviews, your business will rank higher in search results. And you know what that means? It means more customers coming into your shop every day. Broadly helps you automatically request reviews so that your customers can promote your business with just one click. Now, when you immediately ask for a review after service, now when the experience is still fresh in your customer's mind, you're more likely to get a 5-star positive review. Who wouldn't want that? Plus, asking for feedback makes your customers feel valued and a whole lot more connected to your business. And isn't that what you want, connected customers? See how Broadly can help you grow your auto shop. Visit getbroadly.com/CARM, C-A-R-M. Oh, I wonder why they did that. That's getbroadly.com/CARM. Hey, guys, so glad to have you here. This Friday, by the way, another live show that we do each and every week is the Town Hall Academy, and we're going to talk about specialization. I have a foreign specialist in Max McDonald, a fleet specialist in Tom Palermo, and a mobile diagnostician ADAS guy in John Anello. So we're gonna toss that up on the table and talk about it. I think it'll be a whole lot of fun. So guys, let's talk about why we keep our floors clean. Scott, let's start with you.
Well, for me, it was so I've been in business 16 years in July, and when I moved in, my building was a former tractor dealership. We had Class 5 gravel parking lot. It was a constant challenge to keep the place clean, and we were trying to bring auto repair to a different level in our community. This became a quickly suburban area. We were working on minivans and cars, not working on farm equipment. So keeping the floors clean was important because our technicians were getting in and out of the cars, walking around. We don't want to drag that in the customers' cars. We don't want to have issues with safety. This building was built in 1980, tractor dealership for 25 years. There was a lot of slime and grossness that was built up into the concrete. They didn't clean the floor unless they absolutely had to. So I spent a lot of time cleaning to get it to where it is now, and to that point now where we generally don't need to use the paper floor mats or anything, because our shop is for a concrete floor is amazingly clean.
Wow, that's a great point. But do you still use the paper floor mats just in case?
We do, but it's not a necessity, because we are a much cleaner environment. I mean, just overall, not just the floors, the entire shop, the dust has gone down exponentially. But the thing we've noticed is over the years, continuing to clean the floor, we're always pulling. You're always pulling grease and oil out of the concrete that's been in there forever. You can scrub an area that looks clean, and there will be an oily film on it. So
isn't it amazing, guys, how concrete it really is porous. It absorbs.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yep.
Stefan, I think about BMWs. Do you work on anything else? Do you work on other Euros?
Well, yeah, we do. I mean, we're 90% of what we do is BMW, with a handful of minis as part of that. And then we have, maybe 5% Mercedes and 5% whatever other Euro. We just don't work on Land Rovers or Jaguars. I try to avoid British cars, and I definitely don't work on Italian cars.
So I imagine that your customer is a discerning customer. I mean, they want to have a dealership experience, which is why you have, a beautiful brand and a very clean place.
Yeah, so we do try to keep the shop very clean. That is, and as we walk through the shop later, I'll show you some of the things we do to make sure that it stays clean. But what the picture I want to paint, first of all, I didn't come up with this. I bought the company. I worked for my mentor, which is who I bought the company from. I started working for him in 2004. He's a German guy, and, he was a very disciplined German guy where, everything has to be done a certain specific way. And based on his mentorship and me learning from him, I just kind of kept going with what he had. On a personal note, if you ever had something that's new and you've had something and it is your prized possession, it doesn't have to be your prized possession, something you care about, and that something gets marred or damaged or scratched or whatever you want to call it, how does that make you feel? Inside, on the surface, you're not a crybaby, right? Some people are, but on the surface, most people aren't. But how does that make you feel? Does that upset you? And it's not just, are you going to lose a customer if you put a grease print on their beige, immaculate interior carpet, which you're not going to get that out, right? It's put yourself in the customer's shoes. They just spent a boatload of money on this car, whether they've owned it for a long time or they just got it. They spent money on this car, hard-earned money, and now there's a grease print, and your heart sinks if you see that, right? It depresses you, it upsets you internally. Not everybody, but I feel, to me, that's how it makes me feel. So I wouldn't want to put my customer through that. And that's kind of the importance of this. It's like a technician who just bought a brand new Snap-on toolbox. How would he feel if he accidentally closed a drawer and one wrench wasn't all the way in and it scratched a drawer? Like, how would that make you feel? And that's what we have to try to instill in our people to make sure that we're being careful with the client's car.
I love his point. There's this thing called new car proud. Even if you buy a used car and it's new to you, which just recently happened in my household. My wife completely cleaned her used new car from top to bottom and did the seats and did the dash and did the floors and vacuumed it. And it's only a month old. And that is, the empathy that you're talking about, Stefan, is exactly what I think is helping us grow the strength of the image of our industry. Customer tours, guys. Do you do them at all?
I will have, if somebody comes in and they're interested, I will show them through. I generally don't offer it. Sometimes people aren't they might not be interested.
Right.
But from our service desk, you can look out into, we have a window in the door, and you can look out into the north half of our shop, which is the reason I was looking for a floor scrubber. And they look out and they see, there's a couple lifts in there, and it's pretty clean, and try to be organized. And they'll like, oh, you got some pretty nice, space there. I'm like, well, that's only a portion of our space, and I'll bring them through to the rest of the facility, and they're usually very surprised with the amount of stuff we have. The reason that we only the north side of our shop, there's no floor drains, because like I said, this used to be a tractor dealership. The southern half of the building was the service center, and the north half was parts and sales. So we've had to modify the building to make the north half service also without the drains.
But your facility proud, guys, and it's clean and it's nice. And the customer says, "Hey, so what's this thing all about back here? I hear about your training. I hear about all your equipment. Show me around." Sloppy, ugly, dirty floor, junk everywhere, pools of fluids and stuff. You'd probably, insurance says you can't come back here. That's the great excuse, right? Insurance says you can't come back here. But boy, talk about getting behind the scenes. I love to see how things are made, go to factories and stuff. And frankly, wouldn't some of our customers have an interest in that? And especially if you've got a beautiful, clean place?
So what we, before COVID, when we had allowed people to wait in our building, right now we're still not letting people wait. We would, if we would do what we would call a show and tell. So if we found something wrong with the vehicle, we would walk them back there, and we would just show them, hey, look, that's the oil leak, and this is your brakes that are worn, and see your tire, and you show the cords in the tire or whatever. When we didn't point out, obviously we wouldn't point out that it's clean. But something that you'll notice is as we clean our floors, you can smell the solvent that we use to clean, and it just has a clean smell, right? So that's something that customers would actually point that out, and they would just say, "Oh wow, I can't believe how clean the floors are." So we would bring them in, but this was before COVID. Right now, people are dropping off their cars at our front door, and then they go. So we haven't done that in almost a year.
Got it. Show and tell. I love it. And I recall listening to you one day say what you're going to continue to do outside of COVID. And we'll say that for another episode one other time, because I thought, frankly, in my opinion, I think that's something we need to talk about. What did we learn in COVID? What did we implement strong that the customers enjoyed and liked, that worked for us? And then what are we going to continue with once we get back to whatever is the new normal? I think that's a great discussion for another day. So guys, look at Scott, why don't I ask you to go out into the shop?
Okay.
And Stefan and I will just continue a little chat, and we'd love to see what's going on, what the shop looks like, and what the floor scrubber is, and how really clean those floors are.
All right.
Thank you. So Stefan, you purchased your unit, and you purchased it because you felt it necessary. Was it something you always had on your wish list?
Initially it was we kept the shop clean. We were just using a mop and bucket, and just, kept on pressure washing the mop head just to keep it clean. And then later, I'd seen videos on YouTube of this machine. I think it's an Advance, the brand. I'm not 100% sure. And I asked the sales rep to come by, and he demoed it. And I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was, oh man, this will really help us keep the place clean. We were keeping it clean already. But I also think it did make it easier and faster to keep the place clean. We have several steps that we do, because the floor scrubber on its own doesn't do, in my opinion, a good enough job. So usually what we'll do is we'll do section by section. But okay, so to answer your question, I thought it was a neat device. I thought it would save time. And it did, it's my Snap-on rep joked when I first got it. He goes, yeah, well, I see a lot of these in shops, but they're usually back in a corner covered in dust and nobody uses them. But our guys use it, as long as you maintain the machine. The problem is as soon as something stops working, nobody wants to fix it. Or if it starts leaking, nobody wants to resolve it. And then just like any tool, it'll then not get used.
I got it.
No, I thought it was a neat machine. Yeah.
I appreciate what you said. And if you've built a standard operating procedure or a process around cleaning floors at a particular time of the day or who the person is, it gets done, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It gets done.
Well, it's you have to sell the vision to your people, right? I mean, if you tell them, what we used to do, we don't do it as much anymore, but what we used to do is anytime we pulled the car out, even like if you did an oil change on the car, you'd always put a little bit of stuff on the ground. All right, so what do? You just mop it, start the engine of the car after you've done the oil change, start the car back on the lift, mop the floor, and then turn on the fan. The fan will dry the floor by the time the car comes back down. You pull the car out. That way, when you pull your next car in, the floor's clean.
Got it. Wow. Okay. Hey, Scott, are you with us? Let's go out and see the shop. There is Scott. Can you get that camera sideways at all? Here we go. By the way, thank you so much to Claire, who's running the camera for you, Scott, your daughter.
That's Kelsey, my daughter.
Oh, Kelsey. I'm sorry. Kelsey. Okay. Oh, Claire is Stefan. Okay.
Yeah. And Kelsey is actually the one that normally does the cleaning in the shops on the weekends. So.
I am his floor scrubber.
She's
all right.
So yeah. So this is our one half of our shop. This is the north side, and like I said, there's no floor drain in here, which is a challenge if you're in an auto repair shop. We had very limited use of this space because it was very difficult to clean the floors. So I'd been in the market for a floor scrubbing machine. That way we can use this because I figured it would be cheaper to buy a floor scrubber than to tear up the floor and put plumbing in to put a drain in. So this is how this is what we ended up with. So I'm gonna swing over to here. So this is my machine. It's a Tennant T5. Tennant is kind of the industry standard for floor scrubbers, and it's probably a little bit bigger than what I need. So that's why I have it. So pretty much how they work. This top section here, this is the dirty water tank up on the top. It gets sucked via vacuum and it gets sucked up into there.
I just want to say that's some pretty dirty water. And it works, right?
Yeah, that was yesterday. I ran through the shop on yesterday morning just to make sure everything was all good, and that was just right off the floor Monday and Kelsey Saturday.
Wow.
So they're constantly pulling stuff up off the floor. So you got to come around. So this is you release the little latch here, and this is the batteries. This one operates on 4 6-volt batteries. They last for about 2.5 hours on a full charge. And they also add a significant amount of weight to the unit to allow that floor scrubber to actually put pressure down onto the ground. So this is your control panel. On the control, you got the power key down here. You can see a cell phone. Gives you your state of charge for your battery. This is your control for how much and soap solution you want to put down. This is how much brush pressure you want to put down onto the floor. This is our speed. This is the actual driving speed, not so much the scrubbing speed. This is how fast it will move. Pretty cool little, you push backwards, or you push that backwards and it'll move backwards. You push that, pull the handle back and moves forwards and it drives around. And it's got the emergency stop button on the bottom here.
Cool.
And so if something goes wrong, all you have to do is hit that.
So there's no effort. It's self-propelled. It has its own water. It picks up its own water. And you were telling me yesterday, I believe, that the squeegee comes off so that you can actually transport it through narrow places.
Yes, it does. So it's pretty cool. If you want to get down here and undo the hose right from there and undo these two knobs here, the squeegee
Look at that.
removes, and now I can drive it through a 36-inch door from one side of the shop to the other.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that's cool. I love it. Hey, let's go over to Stefan, Scott, while you're putting that back together. Hey, Stefan, you're up, babe. That's a small one.
Yep. Yeah, no, you don't need something huge.
Yeah.
It does its purpose. And so let me just, the problem with these brushes come off if you try to move it when it's not running. So you just kind of have to manhandle it to get the brush, or handle it to get the brush to lock back in place. So simple enough. We just zip tied the push button just to keep it on.
Okay.
And then whenever we want to use it, we just turn on the flow of water. Push the button to turn on the brush. We just brush it. Just kind of do this, walk around. Normally I go in a straight line. So our process is, before I even run the machine, we're going to take a mop and we're going to get the floors soaped up, right? I want the soap to do its job. Once the soap has done its job to clean the floor, then I'll add more soap as I use this with the squeegee up. So that'll make the floor really sudsy, right? It'll loosen up all the dirt. The whole point, just like when you're washing a car, first thing you want to do is loosen up the dirt. The next thing you want to do is suck it up, right? Otherwise, you're just kind of moving the dirt around. So I don't have to do it all now unless you want me to. Do you want me to?
No, but we understand the concept. A wet floor, wet it up with some soap, then brush it, and then eventually you'll squeegee it up.
Yep. Exactly.
And
yeah.
Scott,
and
did you hear that?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Did you hear that? That he wets the floor first, then scrubs it, then squeegees it.
Yep, and that's what we've been doing at that for our spot cleaning. We'll use our traditional floor soap, that orange powder that to take care of the heavy oily spots.
Right.
And then we will take the this to suck it up. And the other thing about this is, if you look here, we're going to turn this here so to get a little better angle. I said we had snow last night, so the snow came under the door, or the snow melted and it came under the door. So we will use the machine to suck the water up just from that, because otherwise, especially in the winter, if we squeegee it out, then it just makes ice right outside the door.
Got it. I love it, Stefan. So in your particular case, Stefan, you just got to have that thing plugged in.
Yeah, it's a wireless machine, but it's got batteries built into it. I don't know the technology behind the batteries or how strong they are, how many, what the voltage. We keep it simple. I just plug it in when we're not using it, and then it'll charge itself. And then that way, anytime somebody wants to use it, they're ready to go.
And how often do you clean the floors? Is it weekly, twice a week?
It's every day. Yeah,
every day.
It's actually clean the base at the end of the day.
You mop it down, scrub it, and what's the square footage there?
Shop square foot is about 7,500 square feet. So let me grab the camera from Emily here. So just pan a little bit.
It's a big,
so
beautiful
there's some
shop.
spots where the paint on the floors come off, but thanks.
Yeah, big beautiful shop. And guys, what's a commitment to time, Stefan? As far is it taking you guys like 40 minutes to do that, or an hour?
Well, we'll do section by section, right? So if we do like I'll come in and I'll do between this post and that post, right? Because we just do one small section at a time. That takes us maybe 5 minutes per section. Just mop it up. After you've done a couple, it just moves fast. So And then when I do that, I do the other section. And then, if somebody used the alignment rack, we'll put the rack up and clean it up too. So it's just, keep it clean, because especially when you're getting up and down from the alignment rack,
Yeah.
if it's slippery as you get down, someone can really get hurt. So just got to keep it clean.
Wow, I am impressed with. No, first of all, thank you for sharing your philosophy behind it, why you do it, the equipment that you use, the time commitment that you make for all the right reasons, and two very interesting, different companies. But Scott, you have a different need, but I also love the idea that you can use it just to mop up yourself, and like you said, Scott, you can just pick up the water. Well, guys, hey, why don't we'll end this thing, go back into your offices if we can, and let's and thank you so much. Oh, thank you for all of our help in our camera angles here. It was really good. And remember, everyone, we're going to be doing this every couple of weeks as we look for some how-tos and why we should be doing certain things in our business. In 2 weeks, we're going to do one on signs. Why have a really nice digital sign, and what the return on investment is, and some of the ramifications that happen inside governments and permits and stuff, and what you could, or some of the big amounts that you could spend on signage. So what a great show, guys. I really think we may have motivated the others in the industry to appreciate what it takes to do a good floor. Guys, let's finish the episode and give me an idea what we would have to spend on a unit. And I'm sure there's used ones to get out there. Any ideas?
I've been searching. I was prepared to spend about $2,500 for a used unit, probably about the size of Stefan's. And ironically, I was looking, and one of my clients actually came in and said, "Hey, do you have any need for a floor scrubber?" I said, "Are you talking like a floor buffer machine, or are you talking like the walk behind Zamboni thing?" And he said, "The walk behind." And I said, "Yeah, I'd love one of those. I've been looking for one of those. What do you want for it?" And he said, "I'll drop it off." I said, "Okay, well, what do you need for it?" And he goes, "We have to get rid of them. And we have a bunch of them that need repairs. And but you've been so good to my company. We service their vehicles." So he dropped it off. So I've got that machine for free. So I guess I can't really say what the value of purchasing a used one is. But I've seen them in $10,000 brand new. But I think you could probably get a very decent one for, I've been looking for the, $25 to $3,500 range for one.
Stefan? Would you share with us?
Yeah, so I think I spent. Yeah, absolutely. I bought it. I want to say about 5-6 years ago, and at the time I didn't have a whole lot of capital, so I financed it. But the price of the unit was about $4,000, and if I recall, I think I paid it off in 2 years, so it was like, I don't know, $200 a month. It wasn't all that.
Yeah.
Wasn't all that much.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, the machine still works. We've replaced a couple hoses, a couple squeegees, but just like anything else, wears out, you replace it. I think I don't know that you have to go and spend a boatload of cash. I've seen a shop owner that has one that you drive, which is kind of cool. I don't think I need that. So, God, you could spend a boatload of money on these things, but yeah, I think if you keep it between $2,500 and $4,000, I think you'll find something.
Well, I would agree.
Guys, obviously the marketplace out there that we all know exists, you probably can find one. And to your point, Scott, just think of networking. Hey, I'm looking for a floor scrubber. Spread the word. And you never know that someone may have one sitting in a corner just wanting to get rid of it. And you got to put, $400 or $500 into getting it to work.
I ended up with a forklift that way too.
Aha. You see, you're a lucky guy. You are one. Wow, things just fall in your lap, Santa Claus.
It does happen. It does happen. Every now and then they want to gift me back.
That's great. And it's, Isn't that what doing business in the community is really all about, and taking care of customers? I mean, not that you would get a floor scrubber put in your place, but the opportunity to work with people and get stuff and share back and forth, barter maybe.
Yeah, that's a really important part of being in business. That you're helping people. You're making an impact in their lives. The more you get involved in your community, helps with that too. I know people that have been in the manufacturing business, weld garage or weld door frames all day or whatever, and at 50 years they retire after grinding or welding garage door frames or whatever it is. And do you feel you really made an impact in the world? And I think with our connections, whether it's, we're not here to fix cars. We're here to help people. That's the important thing. And this is one of the major purchases that these people own, that if we're taking care of them, they truly appreciate it. And this is how oftentimes they thank us above and beyond just paying for the repairs and the service.
Well said, man. Hey guys, this was great. Thank you for kicking off our first How and Why series on floor scrubbing and cleaning. I think we made an impact: safety, environment, and if we, our people want a nice place to work in. Our customers want to be able to see. And I love the fact, Stefan, can people in your wait area, when it gets back open, if it ever does again, see in the shop?
So used to, we moved our reception to the front of the building, so now they can't, unfortunately.
Okay. But they used to, and I think I hear a lot about that if you're ever going to design a building, be sure your customers can see into the shop if we ever get back to whatever normal is. But it's a great point. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here. CarmCast 88, why and how to keep our floors clean. Stefan Grabina, BMW Exclusive Service, Rockville, Maryland, and Scott Palava from Lonsdale Auto Works, Lonsdale, Minnesota. Guys, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.